Coming up on the bench in the Crown City Classic, it was Syracuse men's lacrosse looking to be crowned the victors against Johns Hopkins. Which national powerhouse would prevail when the clock hit zero, and which team would be denied a crucial top 10 victory? We show you all the haymakers thrown by the Orange and the Blue Jays in a thriller down in Charlotte. On the hardwood, it's not a very well-kept secret that SU women's basketball has looked to Deasia Fair to steer the ship all season long. In their most recent matchup with the red-hot Florida State, we'll find out if Syracuse sunk to the bottom or continued to sail the seas in ACC conference play. Highlights coming your way as the Cuse and the Noles collided in the Dome. To hockey, where the end of the road is fast approaching for the SU women. The Orange have stumbled through conference play, but hey, a two-game series against RIT sure sounds like a good opportunity to notch a couple of wins. How would the Skatin' Orange fare? We'll discuss that and a lot more on this edition of On the Bench, which starts right now. Well, this record really stamps her as one of the all-time greats in Syracuse women's soccer history. She's been the face of this team for a couple years now as someone who started ever since she was a freshman, and she's a shining example of someone that this program developed from the ground up and transformed into a star, one of the best goalkeepers in the nation. But perhaps the most important thing for me is the fact that she stayed loyal. In an era where the transfer portal is so prominent, she easily could have fled to a team that has a better chance to win, but she stayed true to her roots. She's a Lancaster, New York native and stayed loyal to the school that's close to where she grew up, and because of that, she's going to be someone who's remembered for a long time in this SU soccer community. Today was just another day at the office for Cuse goalie Shea Vanderbosch. The difference this time, she got some help. The senior notched her 5th clean sheet of the season, and her offense snapped a 2-game scoreless streak in Syracuse's 3-0 win over Cornell. The Orange take care of business in their last game of non-conference play. This is McCamish Pavilion, where former Georgia Tech point guard Nathan George played his last 2 seasons of college basketball. But next year, he'll be heading to the 315. George is Syracuse men's basketball's latest transfer portal addition and figures to be a big piece to the puzzle for Cuse next season. But don't just take it from me, take it from his former head coach, who had high praise for the floor general. This afternoon, Florida State made itself at home inside of Syracuse's 18-yard box. In FSU's 4-0 win over SU, the Noles peppered the net, recording 21 shots compared to just 4 for the Orange. It was a display of crisp passing and blistering speed, and it had Syracuse shaking its head all day long.
Fakes the handoff, play action, pocket collapsing, it's out of Angeli's hands and on the turf, bounces into the hands of a Tennessee defender. Racing is Colton Hood to the end zone. Touchdown, Volunteers!
After months of anticipation, Syracuse football kicked off year 2 of the Fran Brown era last week. SU trotted out a new cast of characters in hopes for a statement win over then number 24 Tennessee. But the Volunteers put a stop to that real fast.
And the Volunteers rolled to a 45-26 victory over the Orange.
However, this week, Syracuse gets back to the comfort of their own dome to face UConn. Linebacker Derek McDonald knows his team needs to have a short memory heading into the next battle.
I think it's just a big opportunity for us. Obviously, we can't dote on this for too long, but we have to learn from it. We got to watch the film and see what we need to fix.
Saturday's game features 2 of the premier athletic programs in the Northeast. And while the Orange and the Huskies are best known as rivals on the basketball court, there's plenty of history on the gridiron as well. Just go back to last November when Syracuse held off a feisty UConn squad by just 1 score.
Syracuse, a hard-fought win over UConn. The Orange take it 31-24.
For Huskies head coach Jim Mora, Syracuse is a formidable challenge.
What I see is a big physical, talented football team. You know, a new quarterback who I think played well, big receivers, big offensive line.
And as for his squad, it's a group that's led by a trio of offensive playmakers. It starts with 7th-year senior Joe Fagnano. The Pennsylvania native spent his first 4 seasons at Maine before transferring to UConn in 2023. In his first season in Stores, Fagnano won the starting gig. 2 years later, he has the 5th most passing touchdowns in school history.
Touchdown, UConn! 80 yards, Fagnano to Bell!
Fagnano has the luxury of throwing to a dynamic target. Senior wideout Skylar Bell went nuclear in UConn's Week 1 win over Central Connecticut, going for over 130 yards and 2 scores.
Open in the end zone. It's Skylar Bell again.
Rounding out the three-headed monster is running back Cam Edwards. The senior was wildly efficient last week, scampering for 115 yards on just 6 carries. Facing an SU defense that struggled to stop the run last time out, Edwards has the chance to run rampant. If you can't make it out to the Dome, make sure to follow at Z89 Sports on X. Syracuse and UConn square off at noon. For now, though, I'm Cole Purvis, Z89 Sports.